Good morning, over the last number of weeks, well, last 2 weeks in particular, Minister, I've been contacted by several people, elderly parents, regarding the lack of respite care in North Kerry. And I think the best way that I can articulate this here is just to read a letter I received over the weekend from one mother. And she says, "I am writing this letter as a very upset and concerned parent of a daughter who is attending Kerry Parents and Friends Listowel. We were informed last week that they are reducing respite in North Kerry in our facility, The Haven. There's little respite now as beds are being used for residential clients with high medical needs. A house was purchased last June in the Kilmeany Kilmorna Listowel for respite. My understanding is this is a 4-bedroom house. We expected this to be up and running within 3 months, as the urgency or lack of respite was already causing problems. The house still remains empty, and we are now heading into February. Funding for staff was promised by the HSE, but none has been released. After a phone call to the head of the HSE Disability Services, we have been informed that there are no funds available, so the house remains empty, and once again we are badly hung out to dry regarding our sons, daughters and siblings. We have to join together now and let our voices of protest be heard once again. We have done it before, we can do it again. There are parents and clients at present who have never had respite. We are all getting older, and this should definitely not be a worry we should be having now. Too scared of getting sick or old. We need to contact anyone and everyone we can, TDs, councillors, the HSE, ministers, to tell them that in no uncertain terms, we and our sons and daughters and siblings are entitled to respite. It is not a luxury." That is one woman. I was also contacted, Minister, by another woman and her husband. He is 75 years old. She is 70 years old. They have a son, 46-year-old, with autism and other disabilities, intellectual disabilities. Their son is over 6 foot tall and a big, powerful man. And the difficulties that they had are exacerbated now with their age and with his physical strength. They have no respite. And they are really at their last wits trying and get some form of respite. I'm asking you here that this house that was purchased in the Kilmeany, Kilmorna, Listowel area, which we are told is a 4-bedroom house, which is ready, if the staff is made available, to ask to be respite for 4 people at any given time. Will you make this happen? At least for so as some of those people who are currently in desperate needs will have some source of comfort.
Thank you very much, Deputy, for your cooperation.
Thank you, Carla. First of all, I want to thank Deputy Martin Furse for raising this very, very important issue today, and for giving me the opportunity to outline the position on service for people with disabilities who need respite supports in Kerry. And I know, Deputy Furse, that you are a very, very long time and strong campaigner for people with disabilities and also for services. This government is committed to providing services and supports for people with disabilities which will empower them to live independent lives, provide them with greater independence in accessing the services they choose, and also enhance their ability to tailor the supports required to meet their needs and plan their lives. I am acutely aware of the changing needs of additional or alternative services. The provision of respite services has come under increased pressure in the past couple of years. There is an increase in the number of children and adults seeking access to respite, but there is also an increasing levels of changing needs due to the increase in the age of people with disability, as you raised in relation to your 2 particular queries. The way in which residential respite service is provided has also changed as agencies comply with the HICPA standards and the National Policy on Congregated Settings. This affects the capacity of services in Kerry to respond to the growing need for respite care. In some situations, this means that beds are no longer available. Example, vacated beds for residents who go home at weekends and for holidays can no longer be used for respite, and this is a major problem. Currently, there are 12 beds available in Kerry area to provide respite services for adults with an intellectual disability. These beds are provided by the St John of God's and the Kerry Parents and Friends Association. On average, 426 nights of respite are provided in Kerry each month for children and adults with an intellectual disability or autism. A further 52 days average of day respite are also provided each month. The HSE acknowledged the current level of provision does not adequately meet the identified needs in the area, and I totally accept that, and I accept that reality, but we have to do something about it. The expansion of respite services for people with disabilities is recognised as essential to enable families to continue to care for individuals with disabilities, and particularly those with significant disabilities. The HSE supported the Kerry Parents and Friends Association in 2016 by providing the capital funding to purchase the house in Listowel to be used as a respite facility. Unfortunately, and this is the key thing here, no revenue funding is currently available to progress the opening of this facility. And I do not accept that myself, by the way. Kerry Parents and Friends Association have recently reported that due to HICWA compliance, they had to reduce the number of respite beds available, leading to a decrease in respite services for some people. The need for increased respite and residential facilities in Kerry is acknowledged, and the HSE continues to work with the agencies to explore various ways of responding to this need in line with the budget available. Where residential respite is not available, the HSE endeavours to work with families and service providers to increase support available through the home support hours and day services. And of course, absolutely, this is something that we have to do something about and act on it, and I will make this a priority issue over the next number of weeks, Deputy First. Thank you.
Minister, now, Deputy, you have 2 minutes.
Minister, thank you for your response, and I welcome your commentary that you intend to do something about it over in the weeks ahead. It's, you know, the beds that were closed by HICRA. You might be able to tell me in a response how many beds was closed by HICRA, and if those four rooms were available and a 4-bedroom house were available, would that not meet the shortfall that's there as a result of what HICRA has reduced? The funding that would be saved by the reduction by HICRA of a number of beds that are no longer have the facilities or have the facilities necessary in compliance. Would that savings not be used to put into the respite care for that house that was purchased by the HSE? And I think you need to make it a priority, Minister. I know you have a lot of priorities from other TDs here in this House and all throughout the country in relation to respite care and other care for intellectual disabilities with children. But the people I am meeting with and talking to are people that are coming to the end of their life. Some of them, I say, one is 70 or 75, and these people have looked after their children and seen them grown into adulthood and looked after them right through to the current day. And the bit of respite that they were getting was of some comfort to them. But the fact that that's no longer available is causing huge alarm and fear. And that fear, as they come towards the end of their lives, the fear of who will look after their loved ones cannot be stressed enough. So I would hope that you will give it, as you say, you're going to give this make this a priority, and I look forward to see the outcome of that. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy First. Minister.
Thank Deputy First again for this issue. And as far as I'm aware, the figure you're looking for is between 4 and 6 beds. And also your proposals there in relation to the funding and the costs issue and the savings, I think that's something we should look very, very clearly at. But I also want to strongly state that in the negotiations for this year's Social Care Disability Service Plan 2017, the overall budget, Can Corla, is 1.688 billion. That's up 96.3 million. That's a 6% increase on last year. And within those figures, and I think it's important to know, and this is where I'm going to develop and go back to the people involved in the distribution of funding. Under that budget, we managed to secure funding for 8,400 residential places, 182,000 respite overnights, 1.4 million PA hours for 2,400 people, 24,800 day places, 41,000 day respite sessions, and 2.7 million for home support hours for 7,500 people. So what I'm saying is, in this situation, you have a service there. We have a budget of 16.2 million to deal with emergency cases, but also within that 16.2 million, there's funding there for the new home supports in home respite for emergency cases. So that is the approach that I will be taking. But I also think it's important as well to say, Deputy Ferris, that we need to ensure that when we provide funding for a house like you mentioned in Listowel, that we have the resources to put in the services there. So what I will tell you, I'll continue to pursue additional funds to increase the level of respite provision in Kerry. The HSE will continue to work with the service providers to explore all options in relation to the provision of respite for all the adults in Kerry. And where residential respite is not available, the HSE and myself, we will endeavour to work with those families and service providers to increase support available through home support hours and day services.
Thank you,
but of course, I will go back and absolutely make this a priority issue, because as far as I'm concerned, it's not acceptable.
Thank you very much, Minister.